Hey, what's up guys? Danny and Alex. We're gonna show you guys some boxing tips and skills. Check it out. All right, so today we're gonna be talking boxing. So boxing skills, all right? So the first thing I wanna talk about is one of the most important aspects of boxing, head movement, all right? So slipping, weaving, rolling underneath punches, ducking, and also moving your head out of the way. So basically ensuring you're not gonna get hit by a punch. All right, so I'm gonna have Alex get into his stance. The first thing or the first rule to get good head movement is always a good base. You can't start swaying your head left to right or underneath punches if you're not in good balance. And the balance will start with your stance. All right, so always having sure to have a good stance here, your hands are up. Now, facing the camera here, Alex, I want you to do the 1 and the 2. So basically, just like punch numbers, we're gonna have numbers for a head movement as well. So in our system, we're gonna have the 1 and the 2, and that is slipping on the right and slipping on the left. So basically slipping outside the straight punches. So if he slips on one side, what you wanna do is make sure you transfer the weight onto the back leg. In this case, he's orthodox, so it's gonna be his right foot. So as he slips here, notice how he moves out. So if we drew a line right here in the middle of his head, right to the center where his belly button is, he wants to just get off center from that line. All right, so that's the first slip on the outside of the jab, for example. And the second one is going to be outside of the right hand. So on the opposite side. Now in this case, he wants to make sure that he's transferring the body weight onto his lead foot. All right, so on his left foot here. So now if we just mix them up, left and 2, if we mix them up here for 1 and 2, so he goes on one side and on the opposite side. So he slips on the jab and on the cross. All right, now notice how we're going from left to right laterally. Now there's a second method sometimes I like to work with slips, is moving the shoulder forward and slipping as such. All right, so you let the punch, so basically we're letting the punch draw over our shoulder behind our back. All right, that's another method, but the weight transfer will remain exactly the same. All right, so that's the 1 and 2 head movement. Now, the 3 and the 4 is going to be the bob and weaves. All right, we're gonna be weaving, rolling underneath punches. So number 3 is weaving towards this side and 4 on the opposite side, his left. All right, so imagine a left hook is coming, you roll underneath, or imagine a right hook and you're rolling on the opposite side. All right, so if we mix them up here, 3 and 4, and every time you do these movements, try to keep your hands up and your eyes onto your opponent. You're visualizing you're having an opponent throwing punches at you. All right, so that's the bobbing and weaving. All right, so if we go back to the 1, 2, slip, slip, and now 3, 4, here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 with your head movement. All right, so ducking punches. Now, we're gonna look at number 5. All right, number 5 is a duck, or sometimes I just like to call it a sit. We're just squatting down underneath a straight punch. So maybe someone jabs and boom, you just sit underneath and your head is gonna be just below their forearm, right? So just like here, so boom. And you gotta make sure that you keep your eyes up because you wanna bounce right back up, right? So if you're doing boxing, you don't wanna run into an uppercut, for example. All right, so you wanna make sure that every time you sit, you come right back up, but your eyes on your opponent and your hands are always up. That way there you can catch anything that's coming back as you're coming back upstairs. All right, so that's the number 5. Now number 6 is going to be a pullback, sometimes referred as the snapback or the head pull. So basically sideways now, Alex, all you're gonna do is just sway your upper body behind and rock the back foot. That's gonna catch that weight, all right, just like such. So you don't wanna move your feet out of the way. It's not footwork, it's just head evasions. So basically if someone throws a jab or a straight punch, you're just gonna snap back and cover that distance. When you snap back, you bring your foot back into the same position as where you started, so you're ready to counter. So now if we put them all together, 1 through 6, it's gonna look like this. You have the 1, the 2, the 3, and the 4, and then the 5 is the sit, and the 6 is the pullback. Now, these are in order. Of course, when you start shadow boxing, working the mitts, or even on a heavy bag, you wanna make sure you mix and matches. You don't wanna just have those head movements in order. There's no particular order, but you gotta make sure you always visualize what you're doing, why you're slipping punches, and then you're always into, like I said at the beginning of the video, in a good base. So basically, your foot position, all right? If your feet aren't placed properly, you're not in good balance, and that also means you're not in position to properly evade and then counter back. All right, guys, so there you have it. Head movement video, super important, guys. Even if you're solo, you wanna work outdoors, work on your boxing, shadow boxing punches, but also make sure you include some of these tips into your workouts enhance your skills. All right, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll catch you
In the next video.
Take care.